Coming up on Mountain News this morning, a new caucus is touring the Bluegrass, sitting down with Kentuckians to hear their concerns. And Jeanine Hampton is in the final days of her term as Lieutenant Governor. Now she looks back on the ups and downs of her time in office. Plus, it's officially peak season at UPS, which means millions and millions of packages will start right here in Kentucky and end up all over the world.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning. The time is 6:01 on December 4th. I'm Madison Pergram, and thank you for joining us on Mountain News This Morning. So happy Wednesday. We're made it halfway through the week, and if you're waking up, it's really chilly, so grab your coat before you go outside, and you might want to start up your car. Let's go to Brandon Robinson. Brandon, it's a little cold, but it's a more mild weather day.
It will be overall, and you're right. There was some frost out there this morning. I didn't get to see it. My car hadn't had time to sit long enough, I guess, to accumulate the frost. But again, we are seeing some frost this morning, so give yourself some extra time. Bundle up too and take a look at the cloud cover, and it's at a minimum this morning. Not a whole lot left. We're trying to see a little bit more trying to creep into parts of southern Kentucky, so we'll keep an eye on that. But this morning, mainly clear skies outside the WYMT studios here in Hazard, and you see that there. Monticello actually going up a little bit in temperature to 36 now. That's the warmest spot in the region. But just down the road in southwest Virginia, Jonesville is at 23, so a big range this morning when it comes to temperature. So a little extra, maybe bordering on max warming there in some counties this morning. Emoji cast as we look ahead. Sunny skies today, breezy at times, still nice and dry tomorrow, and then stray rain chances are around for Friday. Nothing major expected, but just something to keep on your radar, pun intended. We'll talk more about all this coming up here in a little bit. Madison.
Thank you, Brandon. Well, a new caucus touring the Bluegrass, sitting down with Kentuckians to hear their concerns. A group of Democratic representatives are having roundtable discussions with those wanting to voice their opinions. Last night, they stopped in Hyman, and WYMT's Emily Bennett sat down with two representatives to hear what priorities they have going into a new legislative session.
Kentucky's new legislative session is almost upon us, and a group of Democratic representatives are touring the Commonwealth to make their case for change in Frankfort.
And gives us an opportunity to listen to their concerns.
Representative Sherilyn Stevenson put together the Commonwealth Caucus.
I just love it when people make politics not a spectator sport, when they actually come out and participate.
Traveling from town to town, letting people ask questions.
And what about new revenue streams?
Finding a way to receive input from the people about what they want to see after this past election.
We all would put our swords down and come around the shared values that we have as Kentuckians, that we can invest in our people in the best way possible and make the best Kentucky possible.
Representative Angie Hatton says the caucus is trying to focus on things everyone agrees on, not the hot button issues.
Maybe make up 20% of the issues that we deal with, but they get 100% of the airtime.
She says people are asking questions about pensions, tax cuts, expanding gaming, and education.
That will be perhaps #1 priority for this new governor.
Hatton hoping Governor-elect Andy Beshear will shake up Frankfort.
They're tired of people just arguing for the public's entertainment when they were sent to Frankfort or Washington to do a job and represent their people.
The Democrats saying they want bipartisan support to make a stronger Kentucky.
Now, Representative Hatton did say Republicans were invited to be part of the roundtable tour, but no one joined. And we are now less than 1 week away from Governor-elect Andy Beshear's inauguration. He will become the Commonwealth's 63rd governor. On Monday, the governor-elect announced new appointments, including Rocky Adkins, former Lexington Mayor Jim Gray, and Lieutenant Governor-elect Jacqueline Coleman. It's all as he prepares to be sworn in on December 10th. And Jeanine Hampton is in the final days of her term as Lieutenant Governor. 4 years ago, she made history as the first African-American elected to a statewide office. Hillary Thornton talked to Lieutenant Governor Hampton as she looks back on the ups and downs of her time in office.
I still remember that conversation like it was yesterday.
A lot happening between that conversation of Matt Bevin asking Jeanine Hampton to be his running mate about 5 years ago and where she sits now. Did you vote for Governor Bevin?
I did not. I did not. I did not like the way my people were treated.
Back in the spring, the typically quiet lieutenant governor putting out a now famous tweet asking for prayers as she, quote, battled dark forces. That prompted by the firing of her chief of staff and deputy chief of staff without any input from Hampton. That move coming months after Governor Bevin filed for re-election with a new running mate.
It's normal, and it's governor's prerogative who his running mate is. And I told people, don't be angry that he didn't choose me as his running mate. I'm not angry about that. That's not the piece I'm angry about.
She says it was Bevin's treatment of people that was tough for her to understand, specifically the handling of her staff and her feelings about that. All things that she thinks made a difference in his narrow loss of about 5,000 votes.
I think I could have made that up and then some.
The lieutenant governor says as she watches all of the preparations take place out here for Inauguration Day, it brings back a lot of the feelings that surrounded her own inauguration. She says those feelings are far different from what she's experienced in the last part of her term.
The entire day was just magic, and there was so much energy and so much goodwill. And if you would have told me on that day that it would have ended this way in my final year, I certainly would never have scripted the year this way. And if we were doing a TV series, no one would believe it.
Despite what she says has been a strange year, she's stayed committed to her initiatives, proud of several projects she started, including a high school entrepreneurship challenge, a middle school girls STEM challenge, Kentucky Aerospace Industry Consortium, and about 200 school visits throughout the state.
If I have inspired someone to dream more than they would have otherwise, and to maybe reach a little further than this 4 years has been so worth that, so worth the effort.
She made history as the first African American elected to statewide office, and she made several headlines through the ups and downs with Governor Bevin. But she hopes there is more to what she's remembered for.
I hope they remember that I really came in with a heart to serve and that I actually served.
At the state capitol, Hillary Thornton, WYMT Mountain News.
Hampton says she is continuing to pray about what is next for her, and she says at this point she doesn't know that answer. As far as advice for Lieutenant Governor-elect Jacqueline Coleman, she says the most important thing is to try to remain a team with Governor-elect Andy Beshear and to not let anyone or anything steal her joy. And officials from the United Nations will make a stop in Kentucky later this month. The current U.S. ambassador to the UN, Kelly Knight-Craft, is from the Bluegrass. She says members of the UN Security Council will be in Frankfort and Lexington for what she called sofa talks and informal meetings. The visit is scheduled for December 13th through the 15th. And a major purchase in the steel industry could help the economy in eastern Kentucky. Production ended at AK Steel in Ashland last month, but yesterday Cleveland Cliffs announced it's buying the steel company. And the company said today that they will create a vertically integrated business and that the Ashland plant would, quote, create future opportunities. The deal is expected to close in the first half of next year. And officials with the city of Pikeville are looking for community input as they prepare for the next steps in planning for the future. A community meeting hosted last night at the Appalachian Wireless Arena invited community members and stakeholders to be a part of the incoming changes on the city's horizon. Jill Fraley Dotson says the city is always looking for ideas as part of its comprehensive plan every 5 years. This meeting served as a way to gain input from people who have an investment in the city and the region.
We are doing a lot of different focus groups that target anything from our downtown businesses to our institutions, residents. We've even talked to some high school and junior high and middle school students about where they want their community to be.
The discussions range from infrastructure to housing to tourism, and officials say meetings like these are one way Pikeville's leaders keep a forward-thinking approach. And it's officially peak season at UPS, which means millions and millions of packages will start right here in Kentucky and end up all over the world. UPS officials say during peak season from Thanksgiving to Christmas, they see about 4 million packages a day. That's 2 million more than average. To stock up for the extra workload, UPS is looking to hire up to 2,600 people at their Louisville hub to make sure the packages get to their destinations. And Lexington police are working overtime this holiday season in an effort to combat porch pirates. Videos are all over social media thanks to home surveillance systems. While officers are busy patrolling neighborhoods, they suggest shipping your holiday purchases to your workplace so thieves don't have the chance to snatch them.
We always say check with your boss first, but if you can have it delivered to your place of business, that's something that could be an option for you.
This holiday season, the U.S. Postal Service expects to deliver 130 billion pieces of mail. They are even doing deliveries on Sunday. If you don't have a home security camera, ask your neighbors to keep an eye out for suspicious activity.
Forecast this morning, pretty quiet, much quieter than it has been the last couple of days. We've had rain, we've had snow. It's been a very active pattern, but today, sunshine. A few clouds still around in those northern parts of the area and some more trying to come into the Lake Cumberland corridor. But for the most part, we'll be cloud free for much of today. Whitesburg, pretty quiet this morning as we overlook downtown. Not a whole lot of traffic moving around just yet. 23, Jonesville, 36, Monticello, 34, Prestonsburg, 31 in London, 30 in Hazard, 26 in Harlan, and 34 in Moorhead. Kind of give you a synopsis across the area. 12-hour planner today, 49 is the forecast high. That's our average high for this time of the year, ironically. And we're going to continue to see, again, some sunshine mixed with just a few clouds. Much nicer, breezy conditions, though, so that might make it feel a touch colder at times. Madison?
Thank you, Brandon, and thank you for joining Mountain News this morning. More news is on the way. From Black Friday to Small Business Saturday and Cyber Monday, a lot of focus is on shopping for the holidays, but yesterday was focused on giving back to the community. And they needed your help. The Harlan nonprofit with Love from Harlan received big news yesterday.